Hey everyone, Hassan here. Welcome to the world of Ha. Today I have a special video for you. This is the unboxing of the brand new iPhone XR, or XR as it's listed, but appropriately it's pronounced XR. What does the R stand for? Nobody really knows, but basically Apple released a couple of new phones. There's the XS, the XS Max, and now the XR. I got the XS Max. I've done an unboxing video of this. This is my dad's phone. He got the XR, and he's letting me do an unboxing video of this so I can show it to you and do a comparison. The main difference being, the XS is kind of like the main new flagship phone for the iPhone. It's like the 10 from last year, but with better stuff, internals and all that kind of thing. But then the XS Max is like the XS, but bigger. The XR is size-wise in between the XS and the XS Max, but the main difference is going to be that while the XS and XS Max have an OLED screen, this has an LCD screen, which is what all iPhones before the 10 had. They just had an LCD screen. So if you have an iPhone 10 and you're upgrading to this, you might notice a lower quality screen in the XR. But if you've got any other iPhone before that, like my dad has an iPhone 7 that he's upgrading to, you're not really going to notice any kind of a difference in screen quality. It's the same screen quality. It's an LCD screen, basically. There are a couple of other minor differences, so we'll talk about that, but that's kind of the main thing. So this is your cheaper phone. I believe this starts at about $750, whereas the iPhone 10 starts at, I want to say, $1,000. And then the iPhone XS Max starts at, is it like $1,150, I think, or something like that. So, you know, this is your I don't want to call it a budget phone, because it's really not a budget phone. It's really the base model, I guess, is what I feel more comfortable calling it. So let's just jump right to it. This is the XR, and the cool thing about the XR is it comes in a variety of colors. As you can see, I got the product red iPhone for my dad, and the product red version, some of the proceeds do go towards AIDS research, and so Apple usually releases a product red version of their iPhone like months later, but for the first time at launch, we have product red in addition to a variety of other colors, and they have the red all around the package to match, which I think is a nice little touch right there. It's certainly pretty cool. There's other colors as well. The blue was another one my dad was considering, but ultimately ended up going with the product red, and it tells you right in there everything that is included as well. So he just got the base 64 gigabytes. Product red, in my opinion, from the pictures and videos, was the best looking one. It looked beautiful, and I'm really excited to see what this one looks like. So we're just gonna jump right to the unboxing here. So there's a little tab that we pull, and it slides right open just like that. All right, now here we go. This is the iPhone XR. So satisfying. So we'll just set that up back there. So this is kind of a neat little thing. So you have your inserts, but they made it red right there to match what it is. So there's your product red, which basically tells you the information about what it is that Apple contributes a portion of the product red phones towards the Global Fund to support HIV/AIDS programs. Then you have your typical quick start guide, so that's all, you know, pretty standard stuff. Your SIM card removal tool, whatever stuff, stickers, you know, the usual basically. So all that kind of fun stuff. I'll leave that in there for my dad. So he's upgrading from the iPhone 7. So the size is going to be bigger than the iPhone 7 or 8. 8 was basically the same size as well. Because the XS is slightly bigger than the iPhone 7 and 8. And the XR is even bigger than that. And then the XS Max even bigger than that. Ooh, that looks super cool already. But real quick, inside you have your standard power adapter. Same thing with all the new iPhones. It is not the fast charger version, so that sucks. I don't know why they don't include that in the box. That's really unfortunate. It's just the same standard one that we've always gotten. Then you have your standard set of ear pods as well. They do connect via Lightning in the back. There is no adapter for the headphone jack. So if you want one, you got to pay $9 or use one from a previous iPhone if you have it, and then your standard USB to Lightning charge cable. So all that is pretty standard for what has been there for iPhones for a while. So let's just get right to the phone right here. Wow, okay, this is actually a little bit heavier than I expected, to be honest. But that, okay, let's get the plastic off and then fully appreciate the beauty of that product. Look at that. Oh, this is beautiful, guys. The camera is not, my camera is not doing this justice at all. Let me just say, it is not doing it justice at all. So here's the deal. On camera, it looks like a dark red, but it's not. I mean, it's a little bit more brighter and vibrant. I don't know how to, I'm trying to adjust my lights to really, gosh, my camera is not picking that up very well. Yeah, I don't know how to fully demonstrate, like, does it, I don't know if this is not gonna make any sense at all, but if I were to show you through the lens of my, yeah, that doesn't do anything. I don't know. Like, I really don't know how to show you. Oh man, that is a beautiful red color. That is really, really nice. So I believe, now I don't know for sure, but I believe this is the same product red that you've seen on previous iPhones. So if you have any product red iPhones, or if you've seen them, then you should know what to expect. But color-wise right now, I can tell you, so what you're seeing on camera is the dark red. What you're not seeing on the camera is that in the light, it gives a kind of a brighter red as well, which looks really, really slick. It's just not picking up on this camera here. Man, how do I really want to show you guys what this red looks like. I don't know how to. Anyways, let's move on, and we'll come back to that if I can. So around the sides, though, you have a slightly different shade of red, and this is actually an aluminum band around the sides versus stainless steel on the XS, XS Max. So that's another difference with this iPhone, is the aluminum band instead. So keep that in mind. But there it is. There's no home button, anything. It's all the same, straight one panel that you get right there. So a couple of other little differences. So let's bring in the XS Max for comparison. Size-wise, as you can see, the XS Max is bigger, but it's actually not as much of a difference as I was expecting. Like the XR feels like a big phone. Now granted, the XS Max feels like a big phone, and I am totally used to it. I love the XS Max. But just keep that in mind, like if you want a smaller phone, you're gonna have to pay the higher price to get the XS, because the XR is still pretty decently sized. In terms of like thickness, it looks to be very, very similar. So there's, if you want to compare the backs right there. The other difference that you're seeing is the camera. So basically, the single lens camera that's on the XR is the exact same as the main lens on the XS and XS Max. What the XS and XS Max also have is a second lens, but it's a telephoto lens that gives you like the 2x optical zoom. For the most part, this camera is going to get you all the stuff that the other camera can do. In fact, you can actually do the portrait lighting effects and everything as well. The one thing you can't do is, like with portrait mode, it only works on like people's faces versus just any object on the XR. So it's a little bit more limited, but you can still do it. It's totally possible. I've seen pictures and stuff online that reviewers have done, and it looks pretty great as well. So you're really not losing out on much functionality there. Otherwise, design-wise, everything is going to be very similar. So you still have the antenna bands on the sides right there. I feel like the antenna bands look a little bit thicker on the XR, but it's hard to fully say for sure. Looks like there's no antenna band on the top, unless it's like covered or something, but doesn't seem like it. On the sides here, so you do have the same antenna bands as well. So there's that. And then on the bottom, so here's one thing about the XR that, I mean, I don't know how many people care, but let me put them on top of each other and look at the two phones. Look very closely at the two phones here. And so there's sort of a good and bad here. One thing about the XS and XS Max that's kind of weird is how it's lopsided. Like you have the 6 cutouts for the speakers here. Sorry, not 6, you have 7. And then you have 4 on one side with the antenna band. So it's kind of lopsided. On the 10R, they correct that, and they put 6 on each side, so it's symmetrical, which is nice. Now, I don't know if the fact that there's no antenna band, is that going to affect signal reception or what? I don't know. But look at let me just take the 10R by itself. Look very carefully. When you look at it like this, you might not notice as much, but when you look at it this side, look at the lightning connector. It's like, you see how like this is all one line, but the lightning connector is like slightly down a little bit. Like it's not all lined up. In fact, it kind of makes this weird face where it's like those are like the eyes and that's like the mouth. You know what I mean? Because it's dropped down a little bit. I don't know why the lightning connector couldn't be moved up a little bit and make it completely straight. It's like a minor little thing that if you're like OCD about this kind of stuff, then you might notice it, but otherwise you're not going to care. But I'm just pointing out the differences basically. So I don't really mind it, but it is kind of a weird decision. It feels very un-Apple-like, I should say. Also, the SIM card slot is right in the center on the XS Max, whereas on the 10R, it's like down towards the bottom a little bit. It's a little bit lowered. But yeah, man, this thing already just is great. I already got so many fingerprints all over it. It's a great way to present it to my dad. And it does say product red on on this one as well. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on just so I can show you the one other main difference being the screen. That's really the true main difference here, and the reason why this one costs less. I'm not going to set up the phone though, because my dad still needs his old phone until he's back. He's traveling right now. I'm just going to turn it on. And I'm going to show you one thing to compare. And the main thing that I want basically trying to show is the quality of the screen. And that might be a little hard to do a comparison because I'm stuck on the setup screen on the 10R when that loads up. But also the bezels. So when you look at the XS Max, right, look at the edges of the screen here. They're very, very thin. The bezels that you see, it's really... Well, I guess I don't know if this wallpaper is the best example of it because you're, let's see what I can do to fully demonstrate this. If I go into some place here, let me go to like, let's go to apple.com or something. So when you're like browsing, the web, so the bezels are they're very thin. You don't really notice them, because it's meant to be like an edge-to-edge display, right? Whereas on the 10R, now granted, again, it's hard to fully get let me see if I can get like a white background image. Let's see. That way I can kind of really just look purely at the bezels. Okay, so here's a white image that I got. And so you can see the bezels are very, very thin. They're not really noticeable. Whereas here, they are definitely more thick. So, especially you can see around the edges. Like if you look towards the corner here, right? So if I bring the two side by side and you look towards the corner, so you can definitely see these ones are more thick, right? So that's one difference that you're going to get with the 10R is the bezels are more noticeable. I mean, just look at this, right? And my eyes are drawn to the screen, a little bit of the edges, but you look here, and I can immediately see there's a black border all around. The bezels are a little bit thicker, but it is noticeable. So I feel like if you're going from an iPhone 7, like my dad is, to this, it's probably not going to be a big deal to you. I think you're going to be fine with the bezels. Oh, sorry about that. I think my memory card got full, so the video cut off. But I think what I was saying when it cut off was basically that if you're upgrading from like an iPhone 7 or an 8, you already have some sort of bezels, so you're not really going to notice it as much. But if you've seen a 10 or a 10s or anything like that, you'll be able to see the difference between the two. The other thing that it's going to be really hard to show because I'm stuck on the setup screen, but the LCD display versus what I have on the 10s and 10s Max, which is the OLED screen, definitely different screen quality. Now, granted, this has like True Tone on. This one, I don't know if it's on or not. So I wouldn't look at like the warm and cool temperature of the screen, whether it looks bluish or yellowish. I wouldn't look at that. But quality of the screen is going to be a little bit noticeable in terms of, like, you look how when I turn it to the side, you see how the LCD screen kind of gets a little washed out, right? So it doesn't have as good viewing angles. So that's one thing. Now, again, that's going to be similar to what you currently have on an iPhone 7 or 8 or anything like that. So it's all just a matter of what you're used to, I feel like. That's really going to be the main difference. But yeah, I mean, that is the iPhone XR. Certainly really, really neat. I like that they did all these different colors. I certainly think that's pretty cool. And I do want to show briefly the case that my dad got, just for comparison. So he got this Spigen case. I actually have a leather case for my XS Max, the official Apple leather case, which I really like. But Apple didn't release any official cases for the XR. It's so weird. I guess they want people to go caseless and just focus on the phone itself. I don't know. But so my dad got the Spigen case. It's the iPhone XR Ultra Hybrid case. And it's kind of funny because there's literally a sticker on top of this, because what it says behind it is new iPhone 6.1 inch. Because before the names were released, these case companies like knew the specs of the iPhones, like they had all that information. They didn't know the names, so they just put new iPhone 6.1 inch because it's got a 6.1 inch screen. And then they just put stickers on top that now say for iPhone XR. I think that's kind of funny, you know, how they did that. But let's just kind of take this out and just see what it looks like here. All right, so we'll pull that out. And he wanted a case that would really showcase the color, because otherwise, why get, you know, like, who cares about the color then? Like, you want to show it off because the color looks really, really nice. And so this is the one that he got. And so there's a little protective film, basically, that's on the front and back of this little case. So let's see, it says remove protective film. Do you just like peel it off, it looks like? I don't... how does this protective film come off? Just peel it from there? That's kind of interesting. Huh, it doesn't really say. I mean, it's like in there, so it's hard to say how you would get that out. What? This is really weird. I don't know how they expect us to get this thing out of here. I'm afraid if I try and like peel at one angle, it's just gonna like rip or something, and then it won't all come off. Like this is really weird, I gotta say. Okay, there we go. Finally got one little corner of it, and then this thing just kind of peels off, I guess. But then I guess I have to do the same thing on the other side as well, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so then let's try and grab the corner if I can, but it's a little harder on the inside. So if you're planning to get a Spigen case, keep this in mind. I mean, I guess it's nice that they have a little protector thing like that, but I don't really see the point. It just makes it more annoying, to be completely honest. Let's see. See if I can get in there and peel this open, maybe. Okay, getting there. There we go. All right, finally. So there you go. There's the clear case right there. And basically, the way that this would go is, let me actually wipe off some of the fingerprints here with this little cloth I have, just to make it look nice and pristine. And this should just pop right in to the case. There you go. So this is the case that he got, and yeah, you get to really see the red color, which looks pretty nice. It seems to, you know, have all the buttons that you need, and everything seems to work. Nothing's obstructed from view. Doesn't really add too much heft or anything to it. So this, you know, just kind of gives a little thicker border around it, which adds some support, especially when you set it down on the ground. It doesn't, the camera cutout isn't just like resting on the table, which makes it wobble, you know? So I like that. I like that this will showcase the red from the phone, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so that is the iPhone XR, guys. I just wanted to show that little comparison and see what you guys thought as well. So let me know in the comment section below, what do you think? iPhone XR, XS, XS Max, none of the above, all of the above? I don't know. You guys let me know your thoughts. Personally, I love the XS Max, as I've said. That's why I got it. I love the big screen. It's super cool. But the XR is not bad, as long as you know, you're willing to compromise on the quality of the screen and a couple other little things. But that's really going to be the main compromise there that you would make. So keep that in mind. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Hope you enjoyed this unboxing of the iPhone XR. Let me know what you guys think of these reviews. I always enjoy when new Apple products come out to do these unboxing videos and check out their latest technology. I am all in on Apple personally. Not that the other phones aren't good. I want to clarify. I enjoy what Android phones do, and Samsung phones are pretty cool. I mean, I enjoy that stuff. I just personally love what Apple does. I have the AirPods, I have HomePods, I have an iPad, a MacBook, Apple Watch, iPhone. I got, you know, all of it basically. So I'm all in on Apple, and I think they're super cool. So, but regardless, this is the iPhone XR. Hopefully you enjoyed this unboxing video and comparison. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought as well. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.